I'm genuinely curious what you make of some of this open AI conversation about the bubble. And this might seem totally unrelated, but again, you covered this in 2008 and during the recession. But I'm just thinking about right now, I saw this. This is actually a Neil Ferguson piece in the Free Press, but he's talking about the circular funding of OpenAI via NVIDIA and this CoreWeave company, where you have the funding for OpenAI coming from companies that, as Ferguson writes here, are both investors and suppliers to OpenAI. And the connection that I'm just making here in my mind, and even thinking about some of your, yeah, I mean, it's just like there's an arrogance. They kind of know that they're going to be okay, so they can play chess with the pieces of the board that are the American economy. And they know that they're going to get bailed out. They're too big to fail. And everyone else is just left with the bag.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly the lesson after 2008, right? When that was the horror of things like the Goldman Sachs Big Short story, was finding out how these big, powerful banks thought about these things behind the scenes, that, we have to get, sort of back to normal. The government understands that. And they will angrily insist on their right to be bailed out in every situation. And since that's been validated and has continually been validated, not just with the initial bailouts, but with, sort of the sort of Fed funding, there was the COVID bailouts as well, right? So that they know that even if they just experience a downturn, that they're going to be propped up. There's an implied backstop to everything they do. However, I am hearing, it's funny that you bring that up. Some of my old friends from like the finance days have been calling up and saying that the rug is going to come out from under this AI bubble sooner rather than later. So there's a lot of fear about that at the moment. And what you're talking about, where eventually the check has to come due. For some of these investments, somebody actually has to have money in the end. And that's what, when people found out that with the mortgage thing, that there was no there in the middle of that, all those different bubbles. That was when everyone ran for the exits, and maybe we're nearing that moment now. I mean, is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, I mean, and that just feels so familiar. And, I saw a Tyler Cowen piece the other day saying, well, maybe it is a bubble, but bubbles still, with railroads can create products that last. It doesn't mean that AI is, a bust just because we might be in a bubble. And it's like, that is cold comfort to the people who will once again be left with the bag. When you have the circular funding schemes that just feel like they're going in a terrifying direction.
People said that about the original bubble in the 90s, right? With the original tech bubble. They were, that was when middle America essentially lost its accumulated savings from the post-war period, dumped it all into this booming stock market, and with stocks like Pets.com and things that were basically just business plans scribbled on napkins. And they, ordinary people lost everything. A whole bunch of bankers and lawyers made fortunes and cashed out on time. And then in the end, yeah, we did get Google and we got a whole bunch of other things, but it came at the cost of hollowing out the whole middle class. So it's incredibly off-putting to hear the way people on Wall Street talk about those things. And if they do it again with AI, which I imagine that probably will be how it turns out, right? Like these things they're not monetizing themselves yet. It's amazing technology that doesn't make money yet, and that is a familiar story.
Let me tell you about my favorite chips, the best chips that I've ever had in my life. If you've ever read the label on a typical chip bag, you've seen like the science experiment of seed oils, MSG, dyes, and vague natural flavors, quote, natural flavors. But Vandy Crisps are part of the growing movement to bring back real food with just 3 ingredients, 100% pesticide-free potatoes, sea salt, and grass-fed beef tallow. No junk, just real food. They taste so amazing, and they leave you feeling light, energized, and satisfied with no crash, bloat, or mindless binging. My favorite flavor is definitely the Smokehouse Barbecue. I like them all though. They're so good. And if you love Vandy, you'll love Masa Chips, Vandy's sister brand. Their 3-ingredient tortilla chips are also the best that I've ever had. And my go-to flavor, I like them all. Again, lime. I like the habanero. I also like the churro flavor. Super great for dessert. So if you're ready to give Vandy or Masa a try, use code AFTERPARTY for 25% off your first order at vandycrisps.com or masachips.com, or simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code to claim this delicious offer. Don't feel like ordering online? No problem. Vandy and Masa are now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket, so stop by and pick up a couple of bags before they're gone.